This podcast contains adults using adult language. You have been warned. Hello, villains, and welcome to yet another episode of Team X, where if you act now, you can get our compilation set of 2 cassettes or 2 CDs with such hits as Bard Romance, Lady as a Treant, and Emancipated Avian, all sung by the dulcet tones of Bob the Ninja Goldfish for the low price of $19.95 plus shipping and handling. I am St. Brian, your dungeon master for this evening.
You joke, but ask clues. Every time I've used bardic inspiration in her game, I've come up with different lyrics to a popular song.
Pretty much.
So let's play some D&D. To my right, tempting a sponsor.
My name is Bob the Ninja Goldfish. I will be playing Korben Oakenthane, Hill Dwarf Monk Bard. And to my right,
I am Clues. I'll be playing Drenmai Gemweaver, a Tinker Norm Sorcerer with lasers.
Pew pew.
And let's go kitty corner to me that way. Or that way. Whichever way.
I'm Blind Cleric. I'm playing Human Fighter, Hugon Valander.
Which leaves
Me.
He knows
Major Cleric, get it?
I am Thunic, Viking Goat playing Thunic Gentle Trunk, Nature Cleric of the Four.
and a Fearbolg.
Oh, I'm a Firbolg. Yes, I'm a Firbolg.
Currently
Right.
blocking a window, if I remember right.
Oh, that's right.
You are our anti-sniper.
Thunic
captain.
Gentle Trunk,
Ghost
Fearbolg, Nature Cleric, Druid, and
mobile
Wall.
cover.
Mobile cover.
a key part of Operation Meat Shield.
Yes.
So,
Operation Get Behind the Furbolg. Thank you.
It's funny that we think about this now because, like, almost every time we've gotten into a fight, it's been Thunic is too big to fit through something, and therefore forms some sort of fleshy giantkin wall. And
Butt
it's like,
barrier.
it's like the tunnel fight, the window, the just a couple of different occasions.
listen, don't argue with what works.
I'm not mad.
So, when we last left our heroes, they had done some investigation. They were looking into Linan Swift's potential connection to the events that had recently happened in Pinedale. Hugon Valander had a very poignant discussion with the youngest Swift, and the location ritual, trying to find the owner of the arrow that apparently had been used in a teleportation spell, had been completed. They'd also received a missive from the home office, from the secretarian, and the less the more forgetful of the mages, of the wizards, Ashaman, had remembered, oh yeah, there's a package for you, sir, and given them some cool equipment that would allow them to deploy or dismiss armor and weapons very quickly, communicate with each other, and potentially heal a little bit, just a little bit, with the option to expand.
That was really cool, but I think there was a missed opportunity to go, message for you, sir, as one of the Vikings struck this person in the chest and be like, oh.
Actually, I think I'm going to pull through.
Yeah, little Monty Python called me.
Fine. Everything's fine.
I will then seek this adventure in my own particular idiom.
Yeah, that's where we left. Mine Conan, the one of the Dragonborn wizard who was Vainamoinen, who was performing this ritual, and the arrow is kind of twitching and vibrating in the center of this circle of arcane symbols and various components as he was working the various pulling the various strings of arcana to imbue this arrow with some form of tracking so it could find its master, some kind of like star 6-8, mystical star 6 to find out, hey, where did this come from?
Imagine, if you will, a dark star 6-8.
Yes. And the call was coming from inside the room.
Oh,
Fired. All fired.
So he was, as you were having this, and you had received your missive from the home office, and as he's wrapping up the ritual, and finally the arrow settles down, and there's like a final glow that settles into it, and then kind of looks like it like lays over top of it, and then gets absorbed into the arrow itself. And he picks up the arrow with both hands, and he's got it cradled in front of him, and he says, "The ritual is complete. This will guide you to the last person to use this, the person who used this to trigger its magical effect." And
So it glows.
But not the person that shot it.
He says, "My experience has told me that if this is indeed a shadow archer, as I believe it to be, that they have to imbue their arrows with the magic they wish to have it, with the magical effect they wish to trigger."
Right. So you want us to walk towards someone that's strong enough to bind a teleportation spell to an arrow?
I can merely guide you to where he is with this arrow. What you choose to do with it, I'm not saying you have to walk up to him and...
So, did you say it was glowing?
It had glowed, and then so it was like he almost like when he was as he was doing this ritual, it was like he was plucking parts of reality, of magical knowledge, and weaving them together, and laid this weave over top of the arrow, and there was a brief glow as it laid on top, and then it kind of sunk into this arrow. So the arrow is not glowing now.
Oh, so you'd probably see as it like started to glow, Dren was like having grabby hands, like,
Yeah.
and then it went away and say, "Oh."
As she looks so depressed, I'll lean over and go, "It is still very magical."
So Hugo will take the arrow and like kind of like wave it around to see if it's like some sort of asshole dowsing rod.
Give me a dexterity check to see if you poke yourself in the eye. No. No.
What is this, a Red Ryder BB gun?
Oh, this is
Hey, what's this do? Oh my god!
yeah. Woo.
The spell came from inside your head. So you pick up the arrow, and you can feel as you wave it around, it feels almost like the arrow on a compass, where it wants to pull in a certain direction, where it's not that you can't force it to point another way, but you can feel it tugging you back a certain direction, and if you go the other way, it starts to pull
Like
back
a
the other.
gyroscope, right? Yeah.
Exactly, where it's finding this balance, so it's pointing you in the direction of where this person is.
Okay, so we get an idea of direction. How about proximity?
He says, and he points to the there are like arcane sigils that were carved into the side. That's how you had found the arrow. That you'd seen that on the arrow when you had found it.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, as you get closer, the sigils will start to glow. And right now, he says, and it'll start. You'll get your first hints of something when you're probably within about 500 meters of someone.
Just to check, Right. Now, this might be considered a stupid question by many, but you did deactivate the teleportation magic, right?
And he says, there was no teleportation magic left in it. It was single use.
Ah, okay, right.
Yeah.
I
It
was
can't
just
be.
worried. I was just worried about the thing being able to teleport in the middle of us and kill us without us being able to move.
Oopsie.
And he says,
So
no,
it's
that's
more like
a valid concern, but no, these are the way that a Shadow Archer's arrow works is that it's a single use until he spends quite some time to re-imbue it. So a spell like this likely took him or her weeks to imbue it with this level of ritual magic. But once he or she triggers it, single use. He would have to spend time, so you don't have to worry about him transporting into the middle of all of us right now.
that would be convenient, but
At the talk of all this transporting into the middle of us, Thunik's like patting his chest, like in the middle of me. looking around the room, like there's not enough space in you for more people. What's going on?
Have I been shot yet?
so what direction is this arrow pointing?
So you guys are at the Silvered Harrier,
Mm-hmm.
and it is pointing in a southwesterly direction.
Okay.
Would that happen to be the direction of Lenan Swift's house?
No, she would be northwest of your location.
Yeah, where's my map? Damn it.
Sorry, I did not.
Oh, you gonna be.
We're fixing to make you sorry.
We
Believe
all
me,
just
I wake
randomly
up-
Decide, nope, we're going after those fucking spiders now. Screw this mission.
Just
Yeah,
don't go there. Everywhere else is fine. We're gonna go get some spiders.
I am going to Waterdeep.
Bye.
Jen decides she's had enough and goes on vacation.
Would anyone like?
I hear Schultz is nice this time of year.
Yeah.
Would any of you like to hold this arrow?
Grabs up. Shoink.
you don't even get the sentence out of your mouth.
I look over and I'm like, ask a stupid question.
Now that is a stupid question. You mean it has the potential for shiny?
Has the potential for shiny and for me to fuck with it. Yes, add phrasing.
Okay. And he says, I wish I could be of more help. Alas, my expertise is not in battle magic.
Right, we'll take this one then, and I'll point to the one that completely failed to deliver the artifacts at us.
And he says, Vainamoinen says, in a fight, he would be yet less than useless.
I don't know. He could brace for impact, take a couple of hits.
And
Why
he
do you
says-
laugh? I'm being absolutely serious.
no, that was the dungeon master laugh,
Oh.
laughing, not the mage who looks at you, a little horrified actually, because this is the second meat shield that he's seen you activate in the last, it is so many minutes.
Hugon looks at Bruce Willis and be like, "Yeah, we've done that before too."
And
I look over. We could always slap him to strap him to a piece of a door and have Thunuk carry him like a shield, and it'll be a double meat shield.
Yeah. Routine punishment for cowardice.
He doesn't seem that heavy. I could do it.
and the wizards are just kind of looking at each other, horrified, and but it's entirely improper, and
And I'll look right at him and go, next time you deliver Acquisitions Incorporated property on time.
Again, this is the DM laughing.
Or you will be a meat shield. And I will delve into my documenter satchel, delve around for a moment, pull out a form and go, fill this out, return it to me.
It's the meat shield release form.
No.
Combined with the bill of lading.
No. This is the delivery in arrears forms, meaning your delivery was not made on time. If you don't fill these out, you will get fined by the secretarian, and that you don't want.
Well, I mean, they're going to get fined anyways because late delivery does have.
Well, there's a difference between being fined
there's a fee
coin and
structure.
being fined fingers.
Yeah, there's a fee structure in place, but this would be over and above. And Vinamoinen just takes, oh yes, of course, and starts, he breaks out. He's a wizard, so he always has like a pen and quill handy because and he starts filling it out very meticulously, making sure that every I is dotted, every T is crossed.
Dot the lowercase j's.
All of it. There's little flourishes on every Z. The umlauts are everywhere they're supposed to be.
While he's filling this out, I'll turn to Dren and go, all right, lead on, Macduff.
Does this thing spin or does it just glow?
Right now, it doesn't glow. It's so you're gonna. It's like you feel as you move it from left to right. You could feel it.
I'm gonna get like a sense.
It like almost has like a magnetic pull. Like it wants to right itself, like almost like a compass. Except true north for this particular compass is the location of whoever made and shot this arrow. But he did. Vinamoinen did say that as you grew closer, that the sigils on it would start to glow to indicate.
I might have already
proximity.
been walking out the door.
As soon as she got it,
just nah. It's a very single-minded kind of thing, but it's very interesting to me. So I might have already walked out of the room a little bit and just like testing.
I would like to put a hand on Dren's shoulder and go, look, I understand that you're the Hordes person and everything, but maybe someone that can take a punch should be holding that. Unless you want to be the first line of defense.
What's my dexterity? I don't know if I want to give it.
This is like a legitimate question. Let's.
You don't have to give it up. We'll just put
no,
you
but
on
see,
shoulder.
Dren would have said that out loud. What's my dexterity? Let me think about that.
I'm good at avoiding potential.
Again, Dren saying all this out loud.
Yeah, all out loud. Be like, I am really small, so I'm stealthy. I guess maybe like I could be.
And I'll look at her and go, yes, you and I may end up being stealthy, but, and I just turn and look at the other two. Do you remember the tunnels?
Yeah, I guess then because I don't think I'd want to give it up. So maybe I would like perch up on top of Thanuk's shoulder again.
Steer him by the ears.
Yeah, I'd be like this lean.
Oh, she's gonna ratatouille this thing.
Like total backpack style. Right on the back of the neck.
We need to build a fighting platform for Dren and just mount it onto Thanuk. Like a war elephant.
He does have a backpack that he normally carries around that is large enough to carry her plus like a house. Like
a small house.
Yeah. A Dren size like tent, like an RV.
Yeah.
It'd be a Fearbog sized tent, but for a gnome, it would be a full on like one of those, nice RVs.
Yeah.
Lamp RV.
Yeah.
No, I'd probably just take up my perch on the shoulder, like prior. It'd just be like, no, lean this way, lean that way. We're going this way. Oh, that's what I wanted to ask. Has Rozzy reported to me anything that Linan has been doing at the house? Has she like left or anything suspicious?
Anything out of the ordinary? No, nothing.
Ordinary.
No, Razi. Did you program Razi to come like check in like on regular intervals?
No, I have
Only-
communication with him.
Oh, okay. No, nothing has been reported back. Normal evening at the Swift household.
Okay, I'll just kind of do like the mental whistle, like, okay, yeah, come here then. It's fine.
So
Nothing's
we have.
going on. I'd rather have him with me.
So as you're walking out of the Silvered Harrier, Razi comes zipping around the corner, and flutters and lands on your shoulder, and you're sitting on Thunek's shoulder.
We're triple stacked.
Yeah, it's. There's a whole lot of stacking happening right now.
Yes.
Our
We're like
house
those.
light
What are
comes
those
by.
Russian stacking dolls?
Oh.
Like the Nook, Jen, Rozzy. You just keep going. What's inside Rozzy? You don't want to know.
Oh, merchandise.
Anyway,
Anywho,
Anywho.
You mean like a Matryoshka doll?
yeah.
Yeah.
so Nurse Normal, if you're listening, I really want a picture of that. So, or Eric Alloway, out, you too. Anywho, so you start the arrow with its magnetic pull is aiming you in like a west southwest direction across the main town square. In front of Farrier's Hall, where that's where Korben, you had gone to put some requests in for various and sundry tomes. It is just after sunset now, so the town square at this time of night, the lamplighters have gone out and lit the lamps, and there's the usual buzz. It does seem not quite as relaxed as it usually is, but it's also not quite as tense as it was the previous evening when people were kind of like non-surreptitiously hanging out late into the evening.
Yeah.
Is it me, or is this a monumentally stupid idea?
What? Specifically what?
Going
Like at night?
Going to fight something called a Shadow Archer at night.
But what if he's only a shadow during the daytime because you need a light source for a shadow?
But he wasn't, because he shot the arrow that allowed the Meanlocks out at night.
Do we have to fight him when we find him?
Can we just have a nice conversation?
No,
Stop, dude.
That is dumb.
Aw.
Oh no, he's going to have an opportunity to lay down arms.
Well, no, I'm saying I thought this was an observational mission. Figure out who this person is or what it is.
Yes, but observational missions very rarely go according to plan.
Especially with this lot.
That's fair. I mean, that's why I brought my stuff, but I didn't.
What's your stealth level there?
Stuff.
Yukon?
Stuff. Not stealth. I don't.
Yeah, I know. What's your stealth level is what I'm
Stealth
saying.
is for scouts.
For
I'm not a scout.
observational.
He clanks when he walks.
I kick in the door, and everybody inside on the other side of that door has a very bad evening.
Sometimes me too.
Sometimes I do too.
Doesn't it could go either way. It really.
Would it matter if we waited till the morning?
I can't say it would matter, but it would definitely give us a better chance of seeing the fucking thing.
That's a fair assessment.
But if it's inside something, it wouldn't matter if it's daylight or if it's dark.
What if we brought help?
Like...
Given the
Like the pigeons.
complete inadequacy.
I have friends with the rats. I'll have you know.
Yeah. He can talk to small shit. It's helpful.
Wasn't talking about Thunuk. I was talking about the mages and the druids.
Oh, you talked about actual
Actual
things.
help. Although the rats would probably be more useful.
I'm with the Nook on sending in rats.
I don't know. What do you think, Korben?
Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis.
Willis,
You don't know his name.
I don't know his name. You're right.
So there. Bleh.
Yeah.
I just realised we're 12 episodes in and no one knows it.
Well, you are.
No,
king-
I know.
motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dren knows, but they don't.
I don't think we'll be able to convince them to fight, but you're welcome to try. The druids want to keep the druid shite, and the mages, well, they've already proved that they're unwilling to help because they don't know battle magic.
That's
Those-
ridiculous.
Oh, centaurs were helpful.
They were.
I mean, we can recruit all the help we like, but
But who's to say the person's mean?
Probably mean, Thunuk. Probably a bad person. Probably. I'm gonna say, like, if you were to tell me to bet on it, 9 times out of 10, I would bet that they were bad.
There was that big explodey
one-
cauldron thing.
but one person's bad is someone else's good.
I guess.
Anyway, let's look. At this point, this is Dren City. Let's have her make the call.
Yeah, what's in that direction?
Well, there's a lot of stuff that direction. We don't know. This could not even be in the city, for all we know.
Yes, but you are the one who are, as we would say, on home turf. We are playing away.
That's true.
So that direction in the city, generally is some of the more well-to-do homes for some of the more successful merchants, some of the artisans that are, that's where the larger homes are. There are some nobles from outside of Pinedale that have kept homes there as well.
Okay.
I have a question. Is one of them named Oliver Queen?
No.
Just checking.
Queen Oliver. No, yeah, it was.
Does that one asshole live there? The one that
one asshole.
yeah, the one who wanted to interrupt the council meeting.
Oh, that guy.
To your knowledge, Dren, you don't think he owns a home there.
Okay. I'll let everyone else know. That's where all the rich, like, hooty tooty types live that way.
Right.
The politicians, the business owners that actually don't get their hands dirty. That's their land.
Oh, they're gonna love me.
Which makes me think we're gonna stick out like a sore fucking thumb.
Yes.
Right.
100%.
How do you not get your hands dirty?
You don't do anything with them.
Don't use them.
But
But what?
there's so many things.
Thunuk, don't worry about it.
How do you?
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
So then, do we wait for morning or do we go now? Oh, where's my little friend Dustin? Is he around?
You could probably find him.
Ah, the urchin. Yes.
I would like to summon Dustin.
I cast summon urchin.
I did tell him to come see me this afternoon, by the way.
Like,
Well, you're in the square. Still, I'm assuming that you guys had stopped somewhere in the square to have this conversation.
Yes.
Not-
Yeah.
Yes.
Probably
And
by the statue.
Yeah, you could spot Dustin. You'd probably see him like kind of like weaving in and out of the crowd, playing with the other kids.
Dustin.
Yeah. And so, and he perks up and like does, and he scampers over.
And I will quickly scroll a note
Mm-hmm.
to one of the council members, telling them that we're in pursuit of the archer,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll give it to Dustin. I'm like, this needs to get to insert name of council member here.
Azerbaijan.
Yeah, and I'll hand him a silver.
Big money.
For
Out
a
of character, by the
child.
way.
It'd be even funny if it was like, whoa. Even I know that's.
And then I'll be like, and I'll point over to his friends. He's like, which other one of them's a trustworthy?
And he said he says, well, I mean, I trust all of them. Well,
One of the girls
him.
that's playing. One of the girls that's playing.
mhm.
What's her name? I'll point at a random redheaded girl. I don't know.
Where's the name list?
Bailey,
Billy, come here.
Bailey,
No,
Bailey,
Bailey.
Bailey, girl.
Sounds the same in my accent. Billy, come here.
3 kids show up.
A Bailey, a Billy, and
Another Billy.
some random kid.
I mean,
Oh, I
mine's
thought
Fred, you called?
I thought you said Philip. Runs away because that's what kids do.
Yeah.
Billy, come here.
And she scampers over as well.
And I'll write a second note,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll hand her a silver and the note and go, get that to the captain of the guard, because I completely forgot his name.
Philip
Case.
Case.
This needs to go to Captain Case.
Okay. And is that the same? Is it basically the same note that you're
Yep.
sending to the councilman? Okay, that you're looking for the person who
We are on the trail.
on the trail.
The game is afoot.
My thought is, since we're kind of a ragtag looking bunch, we can get a sense of where it's going to lead us to. And then
Mhm.
if we feel like we might want to wait till morning for there actually to be any movement or Dom.
What was that?
That was
Don't know.
that was me hitting my
Oh,
mic stand.
Mike
Oh.
Boom.
okay. I was like,
I'm gonna remember that though, because it's like
for whom the bell tolls.
What did we do? What did we do?
I'm sorry. Roll for
Listen.
initiative.
Anyway,
Jerry has a cauldron. I have.
anyway,
So we can go and at least get a sense of where it's going to lead to us, so we're not so noticeable since it's nighttime out. And then if we feel like, well, this is going to be a situation where maybe we all have to dress up and be, wait, well, I probably have something that can cover if you're Volg and turn him into, yeah, I can make him look like something else temporarily. So if we have to,
he
We can wait
alter
till morning.
himself on himself. I mean,
does he
My
still
favorite
have
disguise
that?
is fuck off. I'm not your underling.
that might be the problem.
I know.
Um,
Again, like, I'm not.
Fine.
I don't infiltrate. I'll go with you, but I'm going to like. I'm
Cast
gonna stick
minor
out.
illusion on Hugon. No.
You can dress him up as much as you want.
the attitude doesn't change.
Yeah.
You
No.
can't. You can't
But at
fix
least it
ornery.
wouldn't be so obvious while we're walking around. But I'd say at the very least, let's go see where this leads us, and then we can either determine if we want to go inside said place or if it's outside of town, or make whatever preparations we have to with a little bit more knowledge.
I'm fine with that. Yeah. We can at least see what we're dealing with, and then move from there.
Or
Alright, let's do it then.
And Korben, the notes you sent, was it asking for any kind of aid, or is it more of just a "I'm keeping you abreast of the situation" type note?
It was keeping abreast of the situation,
Mm-hmm.
but also being like, be on the listen out like kind of.
Ah, should you hear a call to arms?
Should we fail to do the thing, there may be other people that need to do the thing.
Yep.
Sort of thing.
Everyone give me a perception check real quick.
Okay.
Ooh. Oh wait, I have a
15?
negative to that. No, that's the opposite one. 18.
18.
20.
Dren?
15.
Oh, 15. She was being quiet. I was waiting for
She was the first one to answer.
I
Yeah, I
didn't
said
hear it.
15.
Sorry. You all actually do notice that there are watch members that are actively patrolling.
Oh, for the first time in 20 goddamn years.
Well, maybe not the first time, but actually, Hugon, especially to you, it appears to be in an organized fashion.
And like Hugon just like reaches to the sky and says, "Hallelujah."
Now, are they patrolling everywhere, or are they just patrolling the square? Like, if
you
we
see
go
them.
into the fancy to do end of town, are we going to see guard members?
That I mean is to be seen. Your general, being that you have actually been to a large city before, it would not surprise you if there was a disproportionate amount of resources for guarding put into the Richard section.
But they are definitely there. They're not just like sitting in the square.
The ones you see patrolling are not just like you see them like doing some town. They're like walking through the square, talking to a few people. Then you'll see them like make a turn.
Actually on the beat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's so they're not necessarily walking in like, okay, now I do my lap around the square. Now I do my lap. They're being a little bit more random with it, but there is more of like that beat cop type stride mentality to them.
So are we off to try and blend in, or are we just walking up with this one and this one?
We're just walking up right now because it's dark, so I don't really care.
I would like to do my usual.
Poof.
Na 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 na
Korben.
Korben.
All about the Bat Dwarf.
That is a 22 on stealth.
Okay, so are you doing your roof hopping routine, or are you just kind of like?
Now I'm staying on the ground.
So you're doing more of an Assassin's Creed type
crowd move.
Kind of crowd
Staying
move.
to the shadows.
Mhm.
Did Dren
clunking around in the middle of the street? I, however, have a dowsing rod on top of a giant fearball.
Okay, I was wondering if you scurried up, or if I was going to need to pick you up.
Oh, she scurries.
She doesn't ask for permission, remember?
No.
There is no hashtag consent here.
No, not really.
Don't.
For those listening at home, we mean that in the absolute most innocent way possible.
I don't like it.
Well, no, we don't. That's not
we
the
don't.
problem. She legitimately violates his personal space and clambers up his being physically.
That's
there
true.
Isn't an innocent way to take that.
No.
In her defense, he's used to being confused for like a tree by squirrels.
And it's not the first time. We spent like days walking.
She's like the size of some sort of small annoying cat.
So in other words, there's not affirmative consent here. It's more like
the first time she asked. At this point, he's basically her horse. Like
I am a mount.
But then it's the best of mounts then.
Hashtag phrasing.
Whatever.
Hang on, let's see. Mounted combat rules.
Put that book away, sir.
So you Korben, you're doing your thing where you're kind of like ghost out of the group and you're into you like will blend into the crowd and
like 90 degrees here right now, I'd have the hood up.
But yeah, it's like so you're doing your thing that when you need to like cross the street, you're finding a group to kind of in there. Dren, you're sitting up on top of your Mount Funuk, and kind of like directing him. You're doing the Ratatouille thing of directing him in which direction to go. The rod is taking you.
I picture
Hugon,
myself like sitting on his shoulder, and then I kind of have like an arm around the back of the head, kind of thing, with the arrow out in front, like leaning or something like that.
I'm sure also Thuna can see if the arrow decides to make a wild left. Like,
Right?
oh, it's that direction.
pokes him in the eye.
I just have
Ah,
this image of it
damn
like
it.
taking a wild right left and it's been like stab.
oh, jeez.
Do you guys remember those old movies? There was an old movie with Clint Eastwood called Any Which Way But Loose.
Oh,
He had the
God.
orangutan.
Yes.
It's like right turn,
Yeah.
Clyde. It's like anyway.
So Hugon, what is your positioning within this motley crew?
Hugon will probably. Well, he's probably fiddling with that bracer thing, trying to get the weapon disappearing act down. Like,
So you're like armor and weapon are just disappearing and reappearing.
yeah, just like how long does it take? Like, is it actually coming on correctly? Is it?
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, so well, okay, in
Does
game
it fucking
mechanics terms, in game mechanics terms, it's a bonus action because it's just you, and it's like poof,
Cool.
But you can make that, you can flavor that however you would like that to be flavored. If it's like
Magical
Spider-Man
girl transformation sequence.
yeah, or kind of like I was thinking Spider-Man is amazing friends with Iceman, freezing him, or Firestar.
I was actually picturing something
microwaves it
a little bit like what was his name?
Give reference. What are you trying to think of?
Okay, in Diablo 3, there's a really important angel who is also an asshole, but he calls his spear. Yeah, he calls his spear from the sky, and it just comets down and hits the ground, and he just grabs
Do you
it.
want like a Final Fantasy summoning type thing?
I'll think about it. It's unimportant right now. I don't want to waste
I
time.
am very much somewhat invested that if Korben dies now, I want to build someone that wears full plate and basically make Tony Stark.
I kind of want to send Rozzy to this other plane to see what it looks like.
In any case,
but yeah, when the armor reappears,
making a huge scene in the square as I'm like button.
It's like it'd be like Shazam, just yelling Shazam over and over again, like in Times Square.
I will test the communications as well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, don't you have to put it on to test it?
Yes.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
But again, it would not count for metagame purposes, for game mechanics. I'm not counting it as a piece of armor because it is yours. Korben was made especially light, so it almost feels like hand wraps.
All right.
So if you decide, should Korben decide to do that, there would be no penalty to your armor. But yeah, Hugon, as you're putting as it comes on, yeah, the armor feels like it's going on exactly as you have adjusted it. It doesn't feel like there's any adjustment that needs it. You're being thorough. You're like, well, hang on, is the pauldron on correctly? Is this on? And everything feels exactly as it should. So, and did you want to test the communication? Is that?
No, I mean, not as such. More concerned that my concern was that if it takes a minute for the weapon and armor to get to me, and I'm not wearing it, oh shit, come on.
No, it's instantaneous because it's being kept in a pocket dimension.
Well, that's fantastic. So I'll just go in plain clothes then.
Yeah.
With the bracer and just
okay.
That'll be a nasty surprise. I like that.
All right. So as you guys are walking, you guys walk past Farrier's Hall. And as you get past Farrier's Hall, Dren, you notice that the arrow, the first sigil starts to glow, and you see a bit of a red glow. All that means is that you're basically within 500 meters.
She shoves it right into Nook's face. Look, it's
glowing. Ooh, shiny.
And so the road keeps on going toward the southeast, and Dren, you know that this road is the road that actually takes you up into the fire steep mountains, and you know that there's some farms up there. There's vineyards up this direction. But the farms and vineyards are more than 500 meters away. So
Okay, so we're headed out of town, or at least the outskirts of town.
So as you keep walking down the main boulevard, and the arrow starts to cheat a little bit further to the west.
Okay.
So the way that Pinedale is situated is it's basically situated in a hollow of the mountain, where you've got the river running in front of it, and you've got Pinedale sitting between like these two roots of the mountain. And that's where there's paths there's the one road that leads up into the mountains. That's where the farms and vineyards are. You know that there's two roads on the east side of town that lead to the upper and lower mines. So this is actually taking you, and the way this is cheating is showing you that the arrow is still pointing within town, but it's starting to cheat a little bit towards the west. And now the next sigils are starting to glow like an orange yellowy color as you get a little bit closer. And you cross, you get to the main intersection of this road that leads from the square to out of town. Then there's a road that shoots off to the northeast that goes up towards the keep, like one of the main roads. And the arrow, where it's pointing at basically a cluster of homes in like this southeast section of town.
I'm probably not even paying attention to where Thanook's walking. I'm literally just like staring at the glowy stuff.
And are you still directing him, or is he just going to walk right out of town? Is this thing?
Well, he I imagine I'm like got this in front of his face, so it's like a directional pointy thing that I'm doing. So I'm sure he can like see.
So as you walk, and now this part of town, there's not a bad section of Pinedale. It's very much like it's like Montreal in that way, where even the bad neighborhoods, like, yeah, it's pretty nice.
I don't know.
There literally is not a bad section of Montreal.
Oh, okay.
But this, there's like the blue collar section, right, where maybe more the miners are living, where but there's never a section in Pinedale that's like run down. It's not like, there's sections of Waterdeep that are like absolutely poverty stricken, right?
Oh, yeah.
Where it, same thing in Cormier. You've been to cities where you really don't see that in Pinedale. Everyone is doing okay for themselves, but this section are the people that are obviously doing more than okay for themselves, because now we're getting into some nicely appointed homes.
Okay.
They where now you're seeing some of the homes, the closer you get to the town square, the more modestly nice the homes are. Yes, you in the front.
I'd like to look at Dren and go, so there is no poor people here?
It's not so much that there's no poor people as much as
the gap between that is far
no.
less
There's still a gap. I mean, you don't have people that are living at the poverty level. Just
Nobody's
based on
starving.
Yeah, nobody's starving, but there are people that are living in, like, say, smaller apartments than actually owning even a small home.
I seem to remember when we were at that meeting.
At the what?
At the meeting.
Oh, okay.
One of the council members was telling us that people were losing their wages and losing jobs and all that because of all the shite going on with the Chandlewood. And that's been going on way longer than we've been around.
So, I mean, the watch has only been, and the difficulties with the trade with Elboulder has only been for several weeks. So it's not enough to say that there's going to be a whole section that's just people living in abject poverty.
So we're approaching that, though.
That's definitely,
we're getting there.
That's definitely a direction that could go. Yeah.
It's a possibility that is likely at this point.
Yeah.
They're using their last of their savings right now.
But even then, it's not like Detroit, where, where there's not. So what I mean that there's not a bad section of the town, in that there's not a section where you're going to fear to walk at night for your own safety due to, like, robbers, brigands, pirate types.
Gotcha. Okay.
But Korben, as you know, poverty breeds desperation, and desperation breeds
All manner of
sometimes,
social ills.
yeah, bad. And yeah, Hugon, you've seen the same thing where
We were seeing
desperate.
it in Elbalder.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you guys all kind of saw it there, where desperation leads to people making less than great decisions.
Right, let's get this done with.
So, but now as you move further away from the square and closer to like the edge of the mountains that mark the edge of the town, the homes start growing in grandeur, where they're sometimes 3-4 stories high now. They're more ornately decorated in terms of like the trimming around the outside of the windows. The doors become more ornate. The grass or the glass. The windows are more like those leaded glass windows with the designs in them.
Right.
There's maybe some landscaping here and there, not a lot. But as you work your way in, and Dren, you start making your turns and you start like working your way through the streets here, and you end up the arrow ends up pointing you towards a home that's actually right almost flush with the mountainside. And you recognize this home as belonging to Stenslin Tomasi, who is a merchant, a halfling merchant.
Okay.
Who you've known him to be a bit of you've known him. He's one that likes to drive a hard bargain, where he has the money, but he's miserly, does not want to part with the money.
Mm-hmm.
He's always going to try to ding you for, every little discount. Like, oh, I bought this from you and it has a tiny little dent here, so you should give me a discount on this. But was never willing to look at that in his own business, where it's like, no, that's the price that we agreed and you're going to pay that price. So,
Yep.
But you do recognize this as his home, and that's pretty much where the arrow has kind of like settled right now. As it's really settled like on this home, and you could see like the lights are on inside, the lamps are lit inside on the first floor.
How late at night is it now?
It really probably only took you maybe about 30 minutes doing the tracking. Maybe 45 minutes from when you left the Silver Harrier to get to his house. And that's not that it would take you that long to work there if you were walking direct. It was more from, going back and forth with the arrow, making sure that you're walking the right direction,
Right.
walking maybe a little bit too far and the arrow's pointing, okay, got to go back this way and readjust.
As we get to the door and it's quite clear that that's the house it's pointing at,
Mm-hmm.
I will just whisper very subtly, keep walking.
Yeah, I don't want to stop here. I would rather either send Bruce Willis or Bruce Willis and myself as the two stealthy characters to do some scout work.
Okay.
Or Rossi. He's also pretty stealthy.
So you basically just walk past the house nonchalant, like
As nonchalant
as a fearbulk with a gnome and bat dwarf and a non-clanky warrior can be. Yeah, exactly.
So you round the corner, you go back around the block.
Now, when we get round the corner, is it still pointing at that house?
Yes.
When we get behind the house, is it still pointing at the house?
Yeah, no matter where you go, it's basically pointing in the same direction as you move away and around it. So now it's like pointing almost like behind you as you walk
but
away.
What I'm saying is, like, could it be confused? Like, if we go to either side of the house, like here and here and here, right?
Triangulating.
They all point to the house.
Yes.
Because if we walk to the house and the house is here and there's a big fucking mountain, it could be pointing at the mountain.
No. I know. I see what you're saying. So you basically want to triangulate.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
No, as you walk,
house.
As you walk past the house, the arrow wants to pull to that front door.
So it's just doing like this, following the house.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not in the mountain. It's you're reasonably sure that house has been.
It's probably pointing up and down depending like where the person is in the house or something too.
What floor is it pointing at?
It is pointing at the first floor.
But like, it's pointing at Mr. Tomato's house, so.
What do we know about Mr. Tomato other than he's no longer in Fortnite?
Aw,
What?
nothing. Fortnite joke. Okay. Well, he's kind of one of those merchants where he likes to haggle a lot, but
What do we know
I
about
don't
his? Does he have servants?
know. Well, I would imagine he'd had servants, right?
Yeah, he's got a few.
Because
What
he's
do we
in
know
a
about
little.
them?
Do I know anything about them, or I don't know how well I know this Mr. Tomato Man.
I mean, you know him from having the unpleasant experience of having done business
So
with
I
him.
might not know about his.
Yeah, you don't know a
house
terrible lot about his
Okay.
about his servants.
Just- I don't know a lot about him.
You know, he's a halfling and he's kind of a dick.
Are there any other houses around?
Oh yeah, there's plenty of houses around. Yeah.
How close?
So like this block had like 3 houses that they're practically row homes. There's like barely space.
Oh, so they're
in
nice
between-
up against each other. Okay.
Yeah. And then there's across the street. There's a couple more homes across the street from them there. Yeah.
Okay.
I look at Dren and I look at the others and I'm like, does he have servants, other pieces of family that live with him? Like, what's...
2 words. Spider dwarf.
You don't need to spider dwarf, he's on the first floor.
I don't care.
I want information before I go anywhere.
You could spider up the walls and look from the side.
Oh my God, Dren, answer
In the
his question.
windows. I don't know.
Okay,
I just know he's kind of a dick, but
then let's find out. And
I
walk up
would
to the
guess
next door
since
neighbor.
we're in the wealthy part, he probably has a few hand servants.
I walk up to the next door neighbor's door and knock.
I'm not
Hang
with
on.
him.
You son of a bitch, gotta make me pull up my names again because you're just
You're very
Okay.
happy with himself.
yeah, of course he is. Why would he be anything but pleased with himself? No, so you knock on the door
Mhm.
and let's see who's gonna live here. Who will live
Oh,
at this
please
house?
give me a fancy smancy person's name.
Well, I'm guessing they wouldn't be the one answering the door.
No,
No, but
you
they'll have to say this is the household of blah, 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 blah. Oh, like Alistair, like McFufflepants or something.
I was actually thinking Alistair. That's kind of funny that you said that.
McFlufflepants.
So yeah, so a human female answers the door, dressed well, not you would guess this to be a servant the way they're dressed, a house.
Before I knock the door, I'm going to press the digitation myself clean, by the way. And just
The dirt just just
Sound
there's
effect
like this
spiff.
there's like this rain of like dirt that just sort of like sheds itself.
You kick it off the front stoop. Don't mind that.
How big of a pile do you think that would be?
not much.
Well, what did we just
Not
come
much?
from?
Well, no, just the normal dirt, and sweat and
Yeah.
and
Regardless,
yeah.
this female human has opened the door.
And she says, "May I help you?"
Yes, my name is Bruce Willis. I'm investigating some stuff in the area, and we've heard some accusations against Mr. Tomasi that lives next door about abusing his servants. I was wondering if I could speak to you for a while.
And she kind of gets like a sour look on her face, and she says, "Well, I wouldn't put it past him, but I haven't heard of anything."
Well, I'm just trying to get some like ground level information here, like do you know the servants at all?
Oh yes, yes, we speak all the time. Yes.
And he'll pull out like a folio of information, like a
Mhm.
folio out of his documenter bag, and start flicking through, and he go, right. So I'm reading here that one lass's name. What's her name? And he's looking for her to fill in the blank.
Oh, of one of the
Of
servants.
the servant that lives in the other house.
Oh,
The lass, what's her name?
Juliana.
Juliana, right. She's claiming that he's been inappropriate towards her. The lad that works in the kitchen, what was his name? I have got to fire my record keeper.
Oh, Prisco.
Prisco, right. Juliana, Prisco, like, they've all, like, he might be violent towards them. Is this...
She says, and she like kind of looks behind her, like looks into the home, and she like quietly closes the door behind her, just onto the front stoop, like not all the way. She leaves it cracked, and she like drops her voice. Like, she starts speaking a little bit quiet. She goes, "Well, I don't know about him ever being violent with them, but I do know that he is just awful to them with the way that he speaks of them, and I know that Prisco has sometimes served him unclean soup."
I'm so glad Hugon couldn't hear that.
Well,
she says, "But I don't."
You don't even want to know some of the shit I've eaten. You hear like from way back where somewhere.
And what was your name again, my love? I'm sorry.
Oh, Margit.
Margit. Oh, Margit. Thank you so much.
She goes, he's been quiet the last day or so since his company arrived.
Company, you see?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what kind
Some out-of-town lord and his retinue. They've just been... The man just seems to be able to look down his nose no matter who he's looking at.
I think my superiors have that down to a pat, too. If you know what I'm saying. Well, Margit, thank you so much for your time. I won't keep you from your business, but thank you so much.
She says, "Oh, thank you. No, if there's anything I can do to help, but yes."
If you know, like, again, if you would know, like, these are the only two complaints we've got. If there's anything else, I would love to be able to mount the information against Mr. Tomasi. So if you find out anything, please try and bring it to light. Because the last thing we need is people being complete assholes to the servers.
No, absolutely, I understand. Thank you for your concern with my friends.
No, it's my pleasure, and good evening to you, man.
Oh, and she goes back in and closes the door behind her. And
right, so he's got two servants.
Side note: I have now this image of like you're Korben accidentally having created a house servants union in this town.
Oh no! If he was asked, he was going to say he's from the guard.
Oh.
That would be amazing.
Right, so we've got at least two servers. A Julienne, she's the actual maid, brings food, and Prisco, who works in the kitchen, boy in the kitchen. But more importantly, it seems like Mr. Tomasi is playing host to a certain lord and his retinue.
We don't know if it's actually Mr. Tomato Man.
No, but given that we've had dealings with a certain out-of-town lord recently, aka this morning, who could well have been providing a distraction for his boy to get into the basement to set us up the bomb, and well, he profits from destabilizing the area because he wants to run in all over the council people. I mean, that's the math. Dong.
Did I do that again?
Yeah.
Must be 11
sorry.
p.m. now.
I guess I
time
can't
is-
say that I'm surprised, but I'm also not upset. I didn't really like him.
Well, we don't know that for sure it's him. It's just that it could be.
Yeah.
Look, we have to follow evidence.
Of
Right.
course.
So the two pieces of evidence we have, and he's looking right at clues, point to your best friend or Fart Pants McCockwomble.
Hang on. Mick Cock
Womble.
Wobble. Okay.
Womble.
Womble.
W-O-M-B.
Oh, Womble.
W-O-M.
Womble.
Oh,
WOMBLE. Okay.
yeah.
Oh, of the
Womble.
Staffordshire McCockwombles.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So those are the only two people we have any evidence that points towards right now. Now, the evidence is overwhelmingly pointing towards your friend if it weren't for this arrow.
You want us to get inside the house to try and verify.
I didn't say that.
Because Jen was totally going to go inside the house.
What are you saying? What direction are you recommending that we take?
Believe it or not, I'm bringing it to a group discussion because we're a team, apparently.
Well, right, and that's that. I would like to hear your stance on it.
I was hoping you guys had been thinking of a plan while I was collecting information.
My plan was to try and get inside, but I was going to do it, like, since I have my shop and everything in this.
Well, if he's got extra guests and retinue, I mean, that's going to increase the amount of food, wine, whatever else
That's
they're
what
going
I'm
to be
saying.
bringing
We
into the
could play
house.
delivery person that needs to go into the kitchen, and
Valid.
I could
Bear in mind
small-
that his retinue are also familiar with us after our little encounter this morning.
They are. My suggestion was
Mostly
going to be
with
to
you.
tail the servants.
You're the one that threw your fucking coffee at him.
Yeah, well,
They didn't see me.
Yeah, they did. You were stood right
did?
behind me.
I did.
Because you were like, oh my god, he challenged her to the thing.
That's right. Never
But
mind.
we can also change our appearance.
Look, I'm not saying we...
Sorcerer.
That's why I'm saying you should do that. You know what? I'm just
That's
gonna
why I
stop.
was getting there, but Mr. Chunky thing over there was interrupting me. I wanted to disguise self so I could pretend to be a delivery person to get inside so I can see which one, because we don't know which one it could be. It could still be Mr. Tomato Man, or it could be the asshole I threw my coffee on.
And, what are you delivering?
Probably wine.
And where is this wine?
If I can change myself, I've got to have. Can't I prestiges or minor? Yeah, I can
Yes,
minor
Stunner,
illusion
you
wine.
seem to have something to say.
I could deliver her in a box.
It's all bread, and Dred's just a loaf.
I think maybe we're getting a little ahead of ourselves.
No loaf.
Korben is having flashbacks to the monastery when it was someone's birthday and a young lady jumped out of a cake.
I think maybe
It was simultaneously the best and most disturbing day ever.
I think maybe we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. Maybe we should check their delivery schedules, tail them to figure this stuff out, figure out how much of what they're getting,
The
where they're
longer
getting it.
we take, the more people die.
Absolutely true. But we don't have any evidence to justify busting in there other than an arrow is pointing us in that direction.
You said
Like
anything about busting in.
I'm not saying that we do. I'm saying that we have nothing to go on aside from this arrow. And that don't we need to get more to, like, we're investigating.
No. I'm listening.
So
My
You
player,
just said,
my player is just stretching his back.
yeah, you said we had to follow the evidence and we don't have any other than an arrow.
well, if you don't want to go inside the house, I could always set it on fire.
Don't do that. In
That
fact,
would be rude.
that is a terrible idea.
Korben actually looks like he's considering that for a moment.
Okay, fine. I could minor illusion it to look like it's on fire, so they run out.
That would be less rude.
Why? Just he looks. Korben looks at his 3 team hates, and he says, "Why do we have to be disguised at all to walk in?"
It's somebody's house.
They don't like
Why would
us?
we be there?
We're Acquisitions Incorporated. This house is owned by a merchant.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
We could be trying to like extend the good hand of Acquisitions Incorporated and
But
bring
as
him
you
into the fold.
said, I threw coffee on him. You yelled at him.
Not at the merchant, we didn't.
The Tomato
No.
Man.
But
His name is Tomasi.
yeah,
Oh.
man,
Calling him that.
Okay. Tomasi.
tomato.
She's like trying to reprogram Thunic as he's trying to like fix
She's
the
probably
mistake.
still sitting up there on his shoulder too. So
Every time you say Tomasi, she's going tomato. Tomato.
Tomato.
She's trying to recode the memory.
Dren, the
I
very
like my fire
the
idea.
very livelihood of your best friend is on the line. Get fucking serious.
I was. That's why I wanted to set shit on fire or pretend fire.
That's why you're trying to reprogram our giantish friend here to call the man Tomato.
No, that was the DM. I just don't like saying Tomasi. Because I don't like going into the house because it doesn't sound like it's an overly large house. So we have an overly large friend. So
We
any
don't-
kind of maneuverability is going to be shit show if shit goes wrong.
I'll pull out a sheet roll of parchment. But look, I can drop a note in the letterbox inviting him to a meeting tomorrow to discuss Acquisitions Incorporated shite.
What if it's not him though?
It'll get everybody out of his house.
So does fire.
Oh my God, Dren.
You
We
know
are
what?
not setting the
You know
goddamn
what?
building.
I'm fucking done. Dren, we had a fucking conversation in the fucking forest where you said you wouldn't do this shite.
I didn't just go do it in my defense. I
Right,
asked,
and
we
we
are
have established.
trying to prove your best friend innocent.
huh?
You don't do that by committing fucking arson. I'm
Can we
done.
pretend?
And Korben walks away.
Okay. It'd be so. My thing is, I still don't want to go in the house talking to Hugon and Thanuk, especially since we have no reason to actually be there, unless you want to try and disguise self to actually just figure out which one of the people that's inside the house is actually the one that we're supposed to. That we need to know who, not just it's this house.
Okay. Yes, that's all true. So,
So, do you want if you want to go in the house, or do
do
you
not
not
want
want to go in there?
like, there. Going into the house now is going to cause so many things to go wrong, I think. For one, it's going to tip somebody off that, like, hey, look, those acquisitions and assholes are back, and they're investigating things now.
Yeah.
We have no reason to ever show up at this house other than the fact that the evidence of a magical arrow is pointing it to us. That's going to seem suspicious. So we can't go into the house.
Agreed.
if we
So no-
invite everyone to meet us, we can get donuts. And if everyone comes, then we can all have donuts. And Arrow will point at the person we're concerned about.
How are we
Potentially.
going to get everyone in the household to come? What
Well,
purpose would
before
we
you
have
made
a
Korben-
merchant and diplomats?
Before you made Bruce Willis walk away, the idea that he had was pretty good.
That would only get the merchant out of the house,
Right, but
Not
it gets the
diplomats.
merchant out of the house.
And
so that we
guess-
can go into the house for the diplomats.
No.
Because
It
there's
gets-
multiples
It
diplomats.
gets the merchant out of the house, and it gets us into the house by asking to have a meeting there.
And we
How
can
are
bring
getting
donuts.
into the house.
Donuk, listen,
Yes.
I know
Mhm.
that you're trying to be helpful right now,
I
Yeah.
want donuts.
but
Donuts.
stop.
Everyone likes donuts.
Everyone does like donuts, and we may come back to that.
Okay.
But at the moment, let's just set donuts aside for a moment.
Okay.
Getting
really wants
Tomasi in a face-to-face means we can build a rapport with Tomasi without that, whatever that lord's name was, poisoning him against us. Acquisitions Incorporated is a multinational guild. They do a lot of business. They make a shitload of money. I can't imagine your merchant friend would not be interested in that. Right? He likes money. He likes money,
Depends
though.
on the deal.
Fair. We can figure something out.
So basically, our whole goal with this is to basically set up a meeting so we can say that it's not Mr. Tomato.
That would be helpful. And we can also explain to him the scenario if necessary.
Do you honestly think that if he has these kind of friends that he's going to believe us that his friends are trying to murder towns?
Why are they his friends? They could just be business
They're
associates.
Well, okay, they're staying in his house, so they
Okay.
have to have some kind of
They're out of towners.
familiarity.
Maybe they paid him. Who knows?
There's hotels.
I'm just saying, if we get him face to face, we may be able to build an ally out of him instead of a stranger.
If you want to try that, she's thinking about her last encounter with him.
Tomasi?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, your personal history with Tomasi aside.
Then I would suggest that you would be the one to do it because he would know that I don't like him.
Okay. What kind of industries does he deal in?
DM.
So he's kind of like an importer exporter.
Good.
Where he doesn't really deal with a lot of finished goods. He deals more with
raw materials.
Kind of like in between, like it's already been processed, but it's ready to be shipped out to like other. It's being shipped out to other smiths around.
And Tomasi is one of the top men in this merchants in this city doing that level of business.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, that we can work with.
Obviously, all this is relayed through Dren.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ventriloquist.
I can dovetail this discussion off of my recent idea to sort of strengthen the guard. They're going to need raw materials for that, and a lot of it.
Yeah, I'd rather have that than pull in Acquisitions Incorporated.
Well, yeah, that's definitely true, but like, I'll need to. We'll work on the legality of who's doing what in terms of Acquisitions Incorporated or me, a private citizen. But in any case, this is an actual useful conversation that I can have, and it gets him a reason to see us.
Do you want to go now, or do you want to wait for the morning?
Let's drop it off now, because we have a legitimate reason to want to hurry.
Yes.
Okay.
So you're gonna write a missive?
Yes.
And so what do you? So what?
The missive is Master Tomasi, : My name is Hugo Valander, intriguist of Acquisitions Incorporated. It has come to my attention that you are one of the top merchants in this city for the importing and exporting of semi-finished goods. I would like to have a conversation with you in regards to an initiative that I'm attempting to start. If you would please come to the Silver Harrier at your earliest convenience, or if you would like to set up a different meeting point, please reach out to me, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm.
Ways to contact.
LinkedIn profile link.
No, not
I would
that.
suggest it would actually be specific time in the morning, not give him options.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you can meet, I would probably Silver Harrier or Farrier's Hall. What do you think?
Silver Harrier for more
home field advantage.
Public, yeah.
Is he hooty tooty?
Is Tomasi hoity toity?
Yes.
Yeah, well, he is. I would just say he's probably that like new money hoity-toity.
Right, but he probably would be. Well, he may be okay with meeting in a bar. I don't know. We'll ask. But the worst he can say is, no, I would rather not meet there. Or he'll just say no. In which case, we initiate a different plan.
We set it on fire.
No, god damn you, we are not setting
Imaginary fire. I'm not.
Bryn, I need you to appreciate something. Every idea that you've come up that usually involves setting it on fire and it's not an enemy has been a bad idea.
I think it would work because
I don't give a shit what you think.
I go, look, the arrow's pointed at that person running away. Let's go get him.
Okay, that's not how it works. Okay, you set this building on fire, you pretend to set it on fire, the whole watch shows up. What are they going to ask? Who the fuck did this? And I'm going to point at you and say it was this person.
Well, then you're a narc.
Yeah, and you're a liability. And you
I
need
never said I wasn't.
And you
Snitches get stitches.
You need to stop being a liability if you want your friend to live.
I do. That's
Okay,
why
then
I'm going
quit.
for the most immediate cause.
No.
That's been my whole driving force is I want to figure it out right now.
Well, then we can't figure it out right now.
I beg to differ, but we'll go your route.
Okay, good.
Seneca's very tempted to follow Korben, but Drenmai's sitting on his shoulder. He's
but
like,
you pick her up and like put her down.
You can't exactly stop her. Or she can't exactly stop you, I should say.
No, but it would be rude to walk away in the middle of a conversation that you two are having.
Yeah. He's like,
no, he would just pick her up while talking, put her down on the ground, back away slowly.
But that would be rude.
Missive in through the mail slot or whatever mail delivery system they have.
I just had this vision of like every time Thunuk thought the conversation was over, he'd start to walk away. They pick back up again. Like,
yeah. See, in his mind, it was settled with donuts, and he's like, he's ready to walk away, and it was like he was told no donuts. He's like, all right, I walk back, but donuts turns around, comes back.
Okay, so you drop this off at the mail slot, and then you guys work your way back to the Silver Harrier.
I think.
No, I'm gonna go to my shop because I don't want to be anywhere near the Silver Harrier in case he recognizes me. So I'll be at my.
Okay, which is next door to the Silver Harrier.
Yeah, I'm close enough where if something odd happens, I'd like. Actually, I'm gonna have. I'll send Razi with because he's not as known. So
leave the arrow with either me or Thunuk.
She gives it to Thunuk. He appreciated the shiny.
I forget how big was this thing again?
The arrow?
Normal human arrow.
Normal human arrow.
All right.
Pick for you.
So that about yay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like a little twig for you.
Yeah. Yeah. As soon as it passes into Thunuk's hand, the size of this thing just seems minuscule. It just seems to. Yeah. Not that it physically has shrunk size, but it's just sort of like, like when you see like the same color, but they put it behind green or put it behind red, and then the color, it looks like two different colors, but it's just because of what it's near.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the same thing. You put it in Thunuk's hand, and the thing just seems minuscule. You put it in Dren's hand, the thing seems enormous. It looks like it
went from a walking stick to a back scratcher, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Not even a back scratcher. This is like, you'd use this to clean your ear out.
Yeah.
You get, when you get real deep. Where in Drenmai's hands, it almost looks like,
broadhead in the ear.
Payload of a ballista. Yeah.
Large pike.
So back to the Silver Harrier. Thunuk has the arrow, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Okay. Is Bruce Willis trying to leave again?
He's in his room.
Okay.
I may or may not have started rolling stats for a new character.
Thunuk's gonna knock on his door.
Okay.
On Korben's door.
Does he have a donut?
How do you feel about scones?
Thunuk.
Yes. Because we're inviting them over so we can figure out who it is.
Oh, you mean the plan I fucking came up with originally? What a fucking surprise.
That was a good plan.
No, I don't give a fuck what pastries you're going to serve, because I won't be there.
Mhm.
There is no way you can conduct business when one of your fucking people, his first plan every time is give me the shiny thing or set it the fuck on fire.
I think she was
You
joking.
cannot.
No.
You're a fucking idiot, Funnock.
Well, maybe.
I can distract you with a fucking shiny thing attached to an owl.
That's why. Maybe, but only because
Accurate.
I've been attached to an owl. But still.
And then you'd spend 20 minutes trying to figure out why the fucking shiny thing was tied to the owl.
Well, no, I just asked the owl.
You're an idiot. He'd rather chop than ask fucking questions. And she... How the fuck is this supposed to be a team? I literally hate all of you.
It's not really fair. I mean, we've only known each other for a few days. I think you're a nice person.
And in that time... Then you are incredibly naive, sir. But... In that time, we have been through more than most friends go through in a decade. We fought our way through a haunted forest. We've shared dreams. We fought demonized Fae. We've had a fucking magical bomb go off underneath us. And now rather than listen to sense and follow due fucking process and save a fucking friend, dickhead that lives over there would rather set a fucking tower on fire. Regardless of the fact that they're terraced fucking housing, so that burns down all the fucking houses.
That is true. What would do that, wouldn't it?
What? I don't get it. How did Omen think she could ever be part of a team? She only thinks of number one. She doesn't care about us.
Maybe that's why she
The only
is
thing
part
she
of the
cares
team.
about is the stuff around us that fucking shiny.
Well, sometimes people are put into groups of people because they need something from that group of people, like to learn not to think about number one all the time.
We tried that,
And
remember?
it's only been a few days.
And when I said we agreed to that, she still went back to the set it on fire thing.
She did ask if it was a good idea at first.
No, she didn't. She said, I'm going to go set it on fire.
Mm.
The point of the matter is this. There is no way, none, that this team has any hope of cornering and figuring out this mystery if we don't work together. And every time, every fucking time that we get to a point where we're just on that cusp of maybe gelling as a team, Drinmai does something to fuck it up. Name a time when it hasn't.
I'm not remembering.
Like that time in the woods where we were all stood around trying to figure out what was going on with the gong. First thing she did is try to activate the fucking gong. Get us all killed.
But that worked with the person in the water.
Yes. But after a team decision.
Mm-hmm. I just figured she knew what it was because she lives around here.
Then you tell the team what it is. You communicate. As it is, the very first thing we did when we got to Pinedale was agree that she wouldn't live in her shop anymore. Where's she been staying for the past 3 nights?
I don't know.
In her shop.
Oh. Well, it's a hard habit to break. Maybe she still has stuff to move.
Well, she's not moved anything.
Oh, I can help with that. Let's go help with that.
Yeah, you go help with that.
Okay.
Give me one reason I should stay. Give me one good reason.
Because for you, it is strange to share dreams.
No, not really.
Oh, I thought it was. That's why you mentioned it. That doesn't seem very strange, though.
And I notice you say for you, which means it's not for you either.
Mm-mm.
No. I've been labelled with a bunch of people that don't want to work as a team.
That seems inaccurate. I like working as a team. It's very helpful.
Tell me about Hugon's teamwork skills.
Well, he's very good.
At chopping things.
Well, yes, but I mean, when we're fighting that well, I was surprised by a knoll. It was a knoll.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I was just picking mushrooms, and he's like, "Look, a knoll. That's teamwork."
No. That's protecting your squad. It's not teamwork. That's what people in the army are trained to do. To protect each other.
But that's teamwork?
No. Teamwork goes beyond fighting and being physical.
Hugon, where are you in all this?
Like leaning against the outside of the door. Like,
oh, you okay? So you came up there with him?
I haven't like shown myself, but I'm hanging out at the door frame because I assume like Thunic is like hanging out there, unless he came into the room.
He has not been invited in.
Well, as this is happening, so the way the rooms are situated is that there's the common area, then the rooms are on the second floor, and there's like a railing there, so you can, as you leave your room, you can overlook and see down into the common area. And as you're sitting there, you notice someone come walking in, and go to the bartender and hand her something, and she looks at it, and she looks up and sees you, and she waves a piece of paper at you.
Okay. Hugon will head on down to see what's going on there.
And she says, seems like you got some mail here. And she hands you the note. And yeah, it's not.
Yeah, I know. I know.
And it just says, it's got this, it's almost like letterhead on the top, from the desk of Stensland Tomasi, merchant, entrepreneur, investor, and a couple other superlatives. Listing of like different holding companies that apparently he runs. And at the bottom, I'd say the body of the message, it says, I agree. Yes, I'm very interested in forging a relationship and seeing what opportunities arise. 9 a.m. tomorrow morning is at the Silvered Harrier is suitable.
Fantastic.
Signed, and it's like this. The signature on this is like so over the top, ornate, with all the curves and the underlines and the flourishes and everything, and it
puts John Hancock to shame.
Oh, this is like enough that you feel like the enamel on your teeth is starting to peel away, just with like how over the top this signature is. So
fantastic. Good.
So and on that note, we are going to take. It's our halfway point, so we are going to.
Oh shit! It is.
It is our halfway point. So I feel like we need to take a quick break here. So we will be back in 5 minutes.
Or
this
10. Minute. Sorry.
Sorry. Yeah.
Deep within the core of the forest can be heard and hear a spirit song sealed from long before. Now awaken to devour the essence of our soul.